What is going on, everyone? Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. My name is Ricky with Learn, Plan, Profit, and it's time to make some money. Let's do this. All right, guys. We gotta turn this out. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. 1 second till market open, and there we go. Let's see where we go from here. All right. How's everyone doing today? Let's go ahead and all right. USLV just went above 1030. That's pretty nice. There we go. SLV just went at or above. There we go. JDST, wow. Holy moly. There is some movement happening today. Let's do this. What do you guys think about this setup? So we could see your callouts, and then we could see the technical analysis. I like it. /CL on the decline. Let's check that out. /CL. There's actually a watch list update that I should probably have for you guys. But yeah, so /CL getting rejected by about that $72 price point. It's about time. But again, let's take a little bit of a step back. And although we do see somewhat of a decline for /CL, where can it possibly catch, right? If we could see there's a lot of consolidation happening right around $71, and that's exactly where it's like almost catching as a support. Do you guys see this? That's like where it's kind of catching as a support. Also, the MACD indicator is starting to almost trying to curve back in. So again, how do we know when something is going to continue to sell off and make lower lows, or continue to sell off is when it continues to make lower lows. So I kind of just said it, but so what I mean by that is the lows become lower than the previous low, and then the highs become lower than the previous high. So again, showing signs of a downward pattern, kind of like this is showing, right? It's not making newer highs, nothing like that. It's still showing signs of lower lows. So once we see that this thing starts to make higher highs and then pulls back and makes lower highs, then that's a potential sign for a reversal. So let's just make sure that we keep a very close eye out for that, and that we keep a close understanding to what actually is a continuous downward pattern. So let's go ahead and here we go. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. All right. JNUG popping. First time or two. What's going on? Just going through the course right now. My first morning chat. What's going on, Stefan? I like it. Thank you guys again for tuning in live. Really do appreciate it. Hope you guys are all having a beautiful morning. Let's check this out. That's supposed to be HTZ. All right, so let's follow up. Let's start doing some breakdowns, and then we'll start going based off of whatever it is that you guys want me to focus on. So as of right now, I don't have any active positions. Let's check this out. USLV is at 1045. Wow. And that is exactly what we wanted it, from $10 to 1045. That's a 4.5% increase since we've called it out. So pretty attractive here. Very quickly, we talked about this pattern yesterday. Do you guys see this upward staircase pattern, right? With this overall resistance at $10.50. I just want to make you guys aware of this ascending support, right? This ascending support line. So what would make sense is if it validates this as a support, let's go ahead and set our alerts here when it breaks above. We can set our alerts when it breaks above 1110. And once we see this break above, as we can see that it's starting to show signs of a potential, reversal. This is, again, a pretty attractive ascending uptrend pattern. Overall resistance at $11.50. Please let me know in the live chat, does this pattern make sense to you? Do you see this ascending uptrend pattern? Do you see this overall resistance at $11.50? So from $11.10 to $11.50, the margin of profit is around 3.56%. I just want to make sure that you guys understand the pattern, so you'll understand the difference of a break of pattern and a pullback, right? And then you also understand the opportunity cost and where's a good price to sell and where's a good price to buy. Where's a good price to buy? Where's a good price to sell? Man, I cannot speak today. My goodness. I almost just said holy gee willikers, like I don't. Okay, not sure. Perfect. TMUS above the 4-hour EMA, waiting for the confirmation. Wow, that's really exciting. That's actually one that we were all waiting for. And there we go, right? Thank you again for the reminder. What's going on, Don? Overall support at $55. Overall resistance at 65. Junie, again, great reminder for the overall group. Let's keep a very so Tesla just broke above 310. That's pretty attractive. But there we go. And Ford just broke above 1110. So again, now it's showing a little bit more signs of an active uptrend. Very quickly, for TMUS, which is T-Mobile, do you see how it's showing a very similar pattern as it did last time, and it did some consolidation and then it broke above? It did some consolidation at this price point for about a week, right? Let's just take that into consideration. Let's not force an entry. That's all I want to remind you. Let's not force an entry. Let's wait for the full-on confirmation. If we want to wait for the full-on break above $57, so be it. Again, we want to invest in something when it's actively trending up. We don't want to invest in something and then it takes 7 days to consolidate and then trend up. The opportunity cost is lost there, right? So therefore, we understand the low points. We understand the high points. Are you getting a good deal? Based on the past 180 days, if it confirms this reversal, yes, I can confirm that I'm getting it for a good deal. What's the margin of profit that it has to offer? From $57 to highs of 65, that's about 14%. Not bad, right? Wow, Ford is really climbing. And, you know, how do we know when something is actively trending up? When the candles break above the EMA. Again, just a friendly reminder. Thank you again, Ginny, for calling it out. And again, it can pull back, right? Just like it's done multiple times, it gets rejected by 57, it pulls back, and then it consolidates. Let's wait for a full-on confirmation, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and follow up with JNUG. JNUG is approaching. I actually did get an alert for /GC today. Must have broken above 1320. And yeah, there we go. So /GC breaking above 1320. Now starting to show signs of an uptrend. Look how much it pushed up. We want to make sure that it holds above 1320. We can see that JNUG as well is a. Wow, that thing is really dropping. There's a lot of movement today, guys. There's a lot of volatility. This is actually dropping a lot more than I think DRIP is actually moving. So there we go, making lower lows. Do you guys see this? Signs of a downward pattern. So let's just, there we go. So JNUG, yeah, JNUG definitely pushing up. All right. Here we go. So overall resistance tends to be at around $16 to $16.50 based on previous patterns, right? So with this understanding, we could see that it's not necessarily that JNUG right now is the best buy. So again, asking that question, like, is JNUG right now, you know, based on opportunity cost, like, is it a good deal? Not necessarily. The reason that I would choose to invest in JNUG is because it's actively trending up, and just based on that pattern. So as of right now, it's not that I'm missing out like on a good deal. It's that I would be missing out if it continues to rally. It would make much more sense to me since last time when it pushed up this aggressively, it tends to pull back closer to the EMA line, right? To wait for a pullback. Does that not make sense? Like if you already did not get in and you weren't able to ride this 5% push, wow, TMUS just broke above. Let's go ahead and take a position. So I'm going to do this one with my, I want to change it up a bit. I'm going to do it for all my friends that have for all our users that have a Fidelity account. I know a majority of you guys have a TD Ameritrade account, but I just want to show you guys that we could also take positions with different brokerages and stuff like that. And I want to show you guys how to buy and sell on the actual, application for Fidelity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search up the ticker, and that's TMUS. There we go, just broke above $57. Let's actually just break it down. So broke above $57, right? And it's definitely still showing signs of it being potentially overextended. So if we look at it, the 1-day, 1-minute chart, definitely showing signs of it being overextended. What we could do is we could wait for a little bit more of a pullback, so maybe a better buy-in at around 56.70, closer to the EMA line, right? I just have to click trade right here. I'm going to go ahead and click action, and I'm going to click buy. Let's go ahead and see if we can take a $5,000 position just for an entry, and then we could always average up and add more to our position. So M just broke below 28.73. I have quite a bit of alerts set up, my goodness. So let's say if we can set a buy at 56.70, so it'd be about 88 shares. So let me add the share quantity, and I'm going to do this with a limit order, right? And I'm going to do that with a limit order of 56.70. Do you guys see, again, it got rejected at around $57. It's having a sell-off. It could catch anywhere around 56.80 to 56.70 based on previous patterns. Does that make sense? So what we can do is, again, I'm going to review my order, and let's see if you guys can see it. So it says, yeah, here we go. So you guys should be able to see it. Hopefully you guys can, right? You guys should be able to see the order that is ready to be placed. We can click. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and click and set my alerts. So I don't actually think it's, oh, there we go. It's not actually going to end up hitting lows of $57. Of course not. So we can set an alert if it goes below 56.50, and then set an alert if it goes above 57.20. This is actually something really nice about TD Ameritrade that they do is right after you place an order, they allow you to set an alert at or above a certain price point, which lets you kind of stay up to date on whatever it is that you are investing in. So I'm going to go ahead and click and set alert and kind of go from there. So yeah, so positions. So still waiting to see, there we go. So it's still pulling back. Let's see if we could actually potentially get filled. Is this TMAS a short swing trade? It wouldn't necessarily be considered, if anything. So first of all, when it comes down to my, so there we go. I think I should have gotten filled. 100% should have gotten filled. There we go. All right. So there we go, guys. Got filled on TMAS, right? And this wouldn't necessarily be a short term. And again, I went in with like the $5,000. It wasn't necessarily to get in at the best entry, but it's to get in at to get some skin in the game, right? I see the overall value that T-Mobile has to offer, right? So if we do this 90-day analysis, we could see that looking at the low points and looking at the high points, it just hit a double bottom here right around the $55 price point, right? And it has all this margin, 10% plus, almost 15% potential for profit that it has to offer, right? So my initial buy-in is not necessarily trying to get in at $55 flat for the best entry. My plan on this one is to get in for a good entry when it's actively trending up. That's still somewhat of a good deal, right? So that's why I waited for that pullback. And as it continues to uptrend and break resistance levels, then I can continue to add to my position as it approaches the overall resistance at, $64 to $65, and then cover everything it is that, I have fully invested in this one. So looking at this 180-day analysis, now we could see, again, right, this reversal pattern. Something that we could do is, if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you could wait till it fully breaks above $58. No question about that. So okay, and this is a good question, Jason. So because my initial dollar value is so much smaller than it normally is, right? So instead of going in with a $25,000, $30,000 position, it's $5,000. In my eyes, right? That's about 1/5 to 1/6 of what my normal position is. So that's why I'm okay if I get in a little bit too early, just because if it continues to descend, I'm okay with that flexibility. But let's say, so when do I know, or when would I cut losses? I would cut losses when there's a break of pattern. Again, I'm going in for a swing trade. So I know pullbacks are inevitable, right? So with that understanding, if it pulls back and goes all the way down to about, like, let's say $55 and then breaks below, $55, then that gives me the understanding that, okay, there's a break of pattern there and I might want to consider the idea of cutting losses. So it's with that simple understanding. So right now it actually shows, like TMAS actually shows that it's still showing, okay. Something that I could have seen a little bit better is that it validates this SMA line a little bit more than the actual VWAP itself as a support. Do you guys see that the SMA line is validated a little bit more actively than the actual middle VWAP? So I tried to take a position based on the middle VWAP, but there is this, this SMA line, which is validated much more as a support. So I guess that would have been a better indicator to have gone based off of instead of going off of the actual middle VWAP itself, right? So let's go ahead and I'm just going to set my alert once it breaks above 56.80. And then we can go and set an alert if it breaks below the bottom VWAP intraday. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So again, looking at JNUG, didn't necessarily think that this was going to be a great buy. I think that it's a little bit overextended. I would keep a closer eye on JDST, but I know that JDST is actively trending down, so I don't want to force a trade. I want to get the full-on confirmation that JNUG is reversing, which then will give me the confirmation that JDST can reverse back as well. Previous support has been at around $45, right? There was a lot of consolidation there last time, and then it got rejected, right? It's been making lower lows, so that's something that we have to take into consideration, that it could break the $45 support, and that, you know, it could drop all the way back down to maybe like $42, maybe $40 flat. So just understand this descending pattern. And as it continues to try to make higher highs, it's been a descending resistance. So let's take that into consideration for JDST when it does end up reversing. If it ends up reversing, right, that we take that into consideration, that it's been making lower lows and lower highs as well. So just again, before you take a position, understand that characteristic. I did see someone talk about DRIP right now. DRIP and /CL both downtrending. Again, we've talked about even /GC and JDST, or /GC and JNUG, right? Although even though they offer a more direct correlation for the future and the ETF itself, again, it's not exact. And that's why you should still fully understand the pattern of the ETF and then go based off of the future if the pattern shows to be relevant. So we have USLV definitely with that strong push up, ended up getting rejected at around $10.50. I would personally wait a little bit more for a pullback. It tends to do a pretty good job with, like, you know, pushing up and then pulling back, catching, and then continuing that uptrend, just like it did last time, right? So let's make sure that we take that into consideration. So I'm going to set my alerts if it ends up breaking below 1023. All right, then we got DGAS. So I think we talked about this one. DGAS ended up getting fully rejected. We called out UGAS yesterday. And why is it that I saw value in UGAS? We saw that curling pattern. Remember that it was consolidating a lot at around that $54 price point, and today it had a really nice push up to around $57. Just take into consideration that last time it ended up getting rejected at around that $57 price point, so that wouldn't be a bad, like, you know, entry. That would not be a bad exit. I'm sorry. That would not be a bad exit to sell, right? Based on the pattern of $54 to $57. Last time it ended up getting rejected at around that price point. So let's just take that into consideration. DRIP is still showing signs of a descending pattern. Yes, it's trying to catch at around $7, but no signs of a reversal just yet. So I have a couple alerts set up here just in case it does try to push up. But as of now, there's not much, you know, going for it at the moment. So HTZ. So this one was actually, this is Hertz. So this is the car rental company. And this is, okay, I do see your call out. So if you can please stop asking, I'll go ahead and break it down in just a bit. So if you guys see the overall pattern for HTZ, HTZ with overall lows on this 180-day chart, we can see it usually tends to find a support at around $18, right? That's normally when it begins to reverse. So again, it does go lower than $18, but it begins to reverse and start showing signs of a reversal at around $18. Same thing around here, and same thing, I mean, if it continues this pattern, then it would make sense. That's why you see my alert at $18. I want to wait for more of a reversal. So once we get that confirmation, then we can get that reversal confirmation and the overall resistance at around $20 to $22. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and there we go. There we go. I just want to make sure that the overall support and resistance is still understood. This margin of profit, so the opportunity, right, that it has to offer. So a little bit over 20%. And now it's just about to wait for the reversal, the overall reversal itself. Looking at the 1-year chart, we can take that into consideration and seeing how how consistent this horizontal pattern has been. So all we have to do now is just wait for the confirmation. Again, that's simple, but it's that simplicity of waiting for the confirmation that's the most difficult part usually for a lot of people. So let's not get ahead of ourselves and just focus on that. Okay. Same thing with DAL. DAL is showing a very horizontal pattern, right? The overall margin from around $52 to $56 offers about 7.7%. Again, no signs of an uptrend pattern. So why would you invest in this one? The overall, the EMA itself is not pointing up, right? So let's set our alerts. Let's revisit this one when it's actively trending up and actually end up taking a position if we see value in it and if we see it starting to recover, just like it did last time. Like, how do you know when this thing is going to start actively trending up? Look at when it reversed, look when it's validated the support. Look how low it went. Actually, when it was at around $52, look how low it actually went. And look at the pattern that it had when it began to reverse. Look at the characteristics of the previous pattern. That's all I ask you to do. So how would you know when something is going to start to reverse? Just look at the previous times that it's reversed and try to look for similar patterns. That's simple. JDST, again, we already talked about this one, /CO, showing signs of that downward pattern. Let's take a look at this. Yep, still showing signs of making lower lows. Not much going on that one. Let's check this out. Here we go. So watch out. Let's make sure that this thing continues to push up for all those that are in for all those that are in JNUG and NUGT. If this ends up getting rejected by the EMA, then that would be in favor of JDST and DUST. So Gush itself, again, showing a lot of consolidation right around this $38 price point. Gush has been one of the most consistent and actively uptrending stocks within the past couple of months, right? So we could do even like a 90-day analysis, and we could see how consistent it's been. After it broke $24, I did not expect this. It has not been really pulling back. It's continuously been making higher highs, and even when it does pull back, it continues this uptrend pattern. So there is no break of pattern, nothing like that just yet. So yes, it does look like it's overextended. It doesn't look like such a good deal, but Gush has such a strong and solid upward pattern that it's just like very hard to trade against. And that's one of the things that like myself, and I'm a perfect example of, I tried to go into drip to try to wait for the reversal. I tried to sell it to myself that Gush is so overextended that it's bound to reverse. Don't sell yourself this reversal idea, especially when something has such a consistent uptrend pattern. And I know a lot of you guys can understand where it is that I'm coming from. Like, Gush was so overextended, and I ended up wanting to take a position. I think it was my second loss of the year, right? And it was when I took a position on drip, and the loss was a little bit under like $2,000, right? And that it was just so it was so easy, like, for me to see that was not a good position. Like, there was no reason that I should have been swing trading drip when Gush was showing such signs of such a consistent uptrend pattern. So please understand, when something is actively trending up so aggressively with no signs of a reversal, don't try to trade against the pattern. So let the patterns do the talking. So if it begins to reverse, great. It's showing you obvious signs of a reversal, but let myself and my mistakes be a perfect example of why you should not try to chase a potential reversal. If you want to do a reversal maybe for a short-term day trade, that makes sense. Drip has offered a lot of opportunity for day trades, but because it's descending so aggressively, why would you want to swing trade it, right? Need to learn from those mistakes. 100% agreed, Kenny. So I think that is pretty much it. There's this one. I actually don't like this one too much, so I'm going to erase this one. And then there's UAN. So UAN showing that overall. So UAN from that $3 to, the $3.80 resistance. This is one that I was thinking about taking like a $1,000 position and adding more to my position every time that it goes up. But it's just, I wanted to pick up a little bit more aggressively. It is definitely showing signs of an uptrend pattern. And, it definitely did push up a couple days ago to around the highs of 320. And if we think about that overall percentage growth, it's pretty high. The reason that I would take such a small position, so again, 1/3, 1/30th of what my overall normal position is because of how volatile this specific stock can be, and the low volume that it has to, with it. So again, you want to take that into consideration when you consider your overall position size. Is, when it comes down to my swing trades and I see the overall value, I see the pattern, I don't mind going in. You guys have seen me take the $20,000, $30,000 positions. But when I see that something is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more volatile, and the risk is a little bit higher, then I want to take that into consideration before taking an actual position. There's no exact formula that I have for any of you, but it's something that you guys have to become comfortable with and have a better eye for. So as investors, you will see what positions offer more risk, and your position size should vary, at least in my experience, on how aggressive or how small of a position you end up taking. So I just broke down all the stocks in my watch list. I showed you guys everything it is that I saw that was actively trending up or that I saw value in. So now I want to go ahead and dedicate some time in breaking down some stocks that you guys see value in. So I'm going to do one for my boy AGN. I want to make sure that I do cover this. So AGN, again, now trying to, oh, wow. So actually, can you answer this for me? You were considering cutting losses when it was, because it was showing signs of a descending pattern. Now that it broke above the EMA, what's kind of your idea? Are you going to be selling some of your shares and as it continues to push up, or what's kind of your plan? So what's kind of your plan here? So it looks like it's done making lower lows. It finally broke above the EMA, and it's now, this is actually, so it's, I don't know exactly where it is that you said that you bought. So you didn't cut losses. Where is it that you purchased? So this would have been the indication, a better indication of where I would have purchased. Like as of right now, I would have been patient. I would have waited because it continuously got rejected by this EMA. Again, rejection. This is not a buy. This is not a buy. This is not a buy. This is a better understanding of when it's a better time to buy, when we get the confirmation, and then when we see the candles continue to hold above it. Oh, shoot. You got in at 16. Oh. So you got in way up here. And again, I think it's a very simple question that we could have asked ourselves is, look, AGN is showing a very strong descending pattern. Seen at the overall price point, you must have gotten in when it was pushing up like this, right? And this is why it's so important to not chase a stock. So CCE just broke above 38.78. So when it pushed up to about $166, you could have seen a previous resistance at around 170. It was not a good buy. It was not a good deal. So again, that's why you have to ask yourselves those three questions. Is it a good deal? Do you understand the pattern? And is the opportunity cost worth it? Was it a good deal? No. Do you understand the pattern? I don't know. That could have been, yeah, so yeah, flushed me with market news. Totally understand that. I've been there as well. Don't discourage yourself because of that. Wow, 322 shares. Wow. And then the last question is the opportunity cost worth it? Taking into consideration that the previous resistance was right around 170, that margin of profit would not have been worth it for me, right? So those three questions could have easily saved you from taking this position. So now that, so I would say average up after confirmation. What do you think? It's just based on my understanding, you're in pretty aggressive. You're in pretty aggressively on AGN already. I would consider the idea of if we could keep a very close eye to this understanding that this EMA line, SMA line, so the green line, has been acting as a resistance. There's still this gap of margin that you would miss out on, about 5%. I would say as it continues to uptrend and as it continues to push up, again, when this thing pushes up, then it gets rejected and then pushes up, gets rejected, right? Pushes up, gets rejected. I would become comfortable with as it pushes up and makes higher highs. I would consider the idea of selling some of the shares, waiting for the pullback, and if it bounces, then you can buy a couple shares, push up, sell, pulls back, and if it bounces, you buy, and then if it pushes up, again, as it approaches this overall resistance. Or you can just go with the general approach of, just waiting for the overall reversal, holding, waiting for the potential indicator of rejection, and then going from there. So I would also keep a very close eye. If this thing begins again to break below the EMA line, I would cut losses myself. The opportunity cost is no longer worth it. I know you went in with a high dollar value, if I remember correctly. You are down 10%. You are down about 11%, right? As of now, trust me, you waiting a month and fully discouraging yourself based on that 11% loss, forget about the dollar value. We could regain your 11% in 2-3 weeks. Let's just focus on a plan for this and an exit strategy, and an ideal exit strategy would be to sell closer to the EMA. But if all of a sudden there's a break of pattern, let's be smart, let's cut losses and move into something that is actively trading up that's showing quality. I could cover 10% in 1 week, right? Let's focus on setting a goal for yourself of 3 to 5% recovery on a weekly basis, and we will get there in 2 to 3 weeks. We can definitely do it. So cut your losses and invest in something else. Yes, when the opportunity cost is worth it. It's showing signs of a recovery right now, so it wouldn't really make much sense. But once he sees that there's better opportunity elsewhere, then it would make sense and why he might want to cover profits and stuff like that. Matrix, nice. Exactly. I've cut losses at 10%, and that is I was back up in a week, and that is a great example. So for Drip, when I took that $2,000 loss, if I was like a new trader and I was like, dang, I just lost $2,000, I never want to trade again. But if I think about the actual percentage of what that is, yes, I lost a pretty decent amount. It was about I think like a little bit less than 10%. It took me less than a week to regain that 2%. And again, it just made me that much more confident to be like, okay, Ricky, I can't continue making these dumb little mistakes. It's like, I know that it was descending. Like, why did I do it as a swing trade? It's almost like, I'm just like, stupid. Like, it's something that I could have avoided. Simple mistakes, you learn from them, you put them on your wall, and before you take a position, look up and make sure that any of the mistakes that you've made before, that you don't sell yourself a position. That it's the actual pattern itself and the confirmation that actually makes sense to you. So I've learned so much from that experience, wanted to give up but didn't. I agree, 100%. I've been there so many times. Ticker symbol AEO. I broke that one down yesterday. So AEO is showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Again, it did have a confirmation as of yesterday, as a pullback confirmation today. So how do we know when it's going to start or begin to recover again? Let's set our alerts when it breaks above $20. Very simple. So let's set our alerts once it breaks above 20. If it does, great, we can continue that uptrend rally. And if it doesn't, then we don't have to take a position. That's simple. ESV. ESV definitely showing signs of this thing being overextended. I mean, even at $6, it's showing signs of it being overextended. This is actually one that we've broken down and traded before. So it's not showing signs of a good deal. The only thing that you would be missing out on this one is if this thing continues to rally, which it definitely can. But again, you take on a huge risk by taking a position on this because you run the risk of it reversing and coming back down, and then you ended up buying at an extremely high price point, which it doesn't normally hit because it normally has a resistance at about $6. So it always hits my stop loss and sells at the bottom right before it shoots back up. This happens to me every time. And that's why you should understand. So Jason, something that I would dedicate, I've been there as well before. That's why I would dedicate a little bit more time to understanding the overall understanding of is something still descending, or is it so oversold that it's bound to reverse back up, right? And asking yourself that question will allow you to, so just like I gave an example for his position on AGN, it was so oversold that I was just like, okay, if it continues to descend, then cut losses. But if it begins to reverse at that price point, then you don't want to sell at the very bottom. So again, it's just something to take into consideration. So I love these mornings. What's going on, Megan? Let's go ahead and start breaking these down. Of course, thank you. Appreciate that. So Ricky, I was at TMUS at 56.40, but it's okay. So Herman, so I'm going in on TMUS. So you even got in at a better price point than I did. Let me just confirm. Yeah, because I got in at 56.70. You got in at 56.40. And it descended all the way down to 56.30. I'm going in for a swing trade. So I'm holding this for, I could be holding this one for a week or two. And I'm going to be adding more to my position as it confirms the uptrend. That's why I didn't take the position on my TD Ameritrade account because I didn't want to use those funds. So if you're trying to do it as a day trade, that was not my approach. And I spoke about that from the very beginning. So let's just make sure we take that into consideration. What the heck? All right, watch out, guys. Watch out. So for those that are in drip right now, yesterday's resistance, 720. Once, twice. Where's it at right now? Where did it get rejected? 720. I have my alert set here. Watch out for that. That's really good. I really like that video. So Nonya is asking or saying that, Ricky, the video that you made yesterday on what type of trader are you, she found it very effective. I loved that video. I don't think people ask themselves enough, and they just jump right into it and they trade whatever it is that either I trade or what other, kind of like consistent traders or ideal traders trade. And it's like forgetting about all that and then just seeing what, based on, regardless of even if you traded for about a week to 2 weeks, you'll have an understanding of maybe momentum trading is not for me, or maybe it is for me and swing trading is not for me. So that's why asking yourself that question is very important. So I'm glad to hear that you saw value in that video. So LABU and LABD, so let's check those out. I think we talked about these the other day. So LABU, we talked about that one, and this is the one that I saw value in. Wait, actually, no. So this one is showing signs of a potential reversal and rejection at the price point of where it's at right now. So again, I don't think that this is a good deal. It's showing signs of, again, it got rejected by this SMA indicator before, and it's showing signs of it might getting rejected at this price point again. Does it mean that it's fully going to get rejected? No, but that's why it's so important to wait for the confirmation. So what we can do is, again, we know that this is an ideal sell point, right? So looking at the inverse, LABD, which is actually one that, all right, we can see that this one is closer to the overall support at around $30, and it has a potential reversal pattern, right? And then this one can end up get rejected at around 35 to 37.50. So as of right now, asking yourself the 3 questions. Is LABU a good deal? No. Is the opportunity cost worth it? No. It made up all its margin, right, as of right now. And the last thing is, do you understand the pattern? Yes, the horizontal support at $70 and the descending resistance with the SMA line. Very simple. So we could look at the inverse to try to get in at a good buy, to try to sell for profit. But again, this is a very strong descending pattern. So that's a risk that you run, right? Descending resistance and descending supports. So I can draw a line at the support line right around $30 where it tends to bounce at. And we can draw a resistance right around, it's around $37, but I'm just going to be conservative and draw the resistance at 35 just because this margin alone is over 10%, right? So it doesn't mean that it's a good buy right now. It still means that we have to wait. LABU can shoot, to the moon, and that means that LABD will continue to descend. We want to wait for the confirmation of the rejection, and then once we have that and that it breaks below the EMA, then we can get the confirmation that LABD is most likely going to continue to trend up. So LA drip up 3%, and wow, that's a nice little pullback on drip. Holy moly! There we go. Will it bounce? We'll have to check up on this. PayPal showing signs of an uptrend. Let's check it out. All right, guys, let's do this for about 12 more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. What do you guys think about today's live stream? Do you guys like this one a little? I feel like our energy today is pretty high, at least my energy. And I really do apologize for this week. I've been really bad with my sleep schedule. I was almost testing myself. So very quick, strong descending pattern. This is not a good deal. It continues to make, so do you understand the pattern? It continues to make lower lows. Do you guys see that? Right? And lower this descending support and resistance. Very easy for me to see, right? It's not a good deal. I understand the pattern and the opportunity cost is not worth it. That's why I would not like to invest in PayPal. Now, if there's a full-on break of pattern, which there can be, let's set the alert. But what I wanted to say was I wanted to apologize for my lack of energy this week. I've been really bad with just my sleep. I've been running on like yesterday, I ran on 1.5 hours of sleep. And I took a 2-hour nap at around 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, but that doesn't benefit you guys because I was so drained I don't know. I don't know if it's like my allergies or what's been going on, but just everything that is like that I've been doing like this past week has been with, you know, not a lot of energy. So today I went to sleep, or last night I went to sleep at around 12:30, which is a little bit earlier for me. And I want to make this live video. I'm going to take another nap and then just for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then just fully, you know, knock out all the work that I have to do today. So thank you again for that. Oh, Sunday stock talk was awesome energy. Yeah, I agree. So no problem. We understand. Thank you, Farid. Alrighty, nice, nice, nice. I like that. I'm glad to hear that you guys are enjoying the live stream. You're getting old, Ricky. You need those naps, Sandra. Kama says, take care of yourself. Sounds good. Yep, I agree. Have you ever slept 8 hours? Oh, of course I've slept 8 hours before. Usually Sundays I tend to sleep quite a bit, but last Sunday I fell asleep at like 3 o'clock at night or in the morning, and I woke up at 7. So even on Sunday wasn't like, you know, that much. So, but that's usually when I catch up on most of my sleep, so I can get about 6 hours usually. Yeah, so we already did talk about Ford, and we talked about this ascending uptrend pattern. So it is showing signs of this reversal, and that's what we were talking about. So set your alerts also for the potential reversal at around 11:20. So we talked about this upward staircase pattern, bud. So again, that's why it's pretty important to tune in when we first start going live, because this is the first ticker that I actually started to talk about. So this is ascending uptrend pattern, overall support line, overall resistance line. Mike L, new to the program, Ricky, really enjoying it. Thank you, really happy to hear that. Please look at PTN. All right. If I remember correctly, PTN, I just got an alert. Oh, there we go. So PTN showing signs of a lot of consolidation going on right here. I have my alert set here when it breaks above 1125 or 125, a little bit more of a confirmation of an uptrend pattern. First of all, very low cap stock. I would watch out for the overall position size as an earnings on 515, 17 to take into consideration. And I don't think as of right now, it's actually showing a lot of activity of it actively trending up. It's showing a lot of consolidation. How do we know when something is actively trending up? When it continues to make higher highs. And right now it's making lower highs, at least within the past couple of days. So because of that, even waiting for the break above, you know, 130 and then the pullback and then for that to make higher highs, that would be much more attractive to me. So yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you. What is sleep? I agree. Can you break down LTC? And again, so LTC, strong downward pattern. Again, do you understand the pattern? Descending pattern, not a good buy, right? Not a good buy right now. Yes, it can reverse, but but in reality, it tends to get rejected based on previous patterns at the SMA. So again, don't sell it to yourself. Second thing is this a good buy? No, it's not a good deal. You could see that this would have been a better deal at the reversal, and that you still run the risk of the descending pattern. So overall, everything is telling me to not buy this right now. 100%, everything. Being patient today, I agree. That is so cool. Tim, really happy to hear that. Very good video this morning. Happy to hear that. Thank you. RTRX. Should you be freaking out right now for RTRX? So first of all, you have to understand this ascending uptrend pattern. And you should have understood that $27 should have been a potential sell point. As it's approaching $27, that was a price point that we've talked about. That was a potential price point to sell. Although, yes, $28 would have been nice, $27 is something that can show signs of this being overbought, right? This pullback that it's having, there is no break of pattern. If it starts to break below the EMA line and then continues to descend, that would be a break of pattern. But that's why it's so important for the first question that you have to ask yourself, do you understand the pattern? And do you understand when it's a good deal and when it's a good time to sell? Yes, this would have been a much better deal because of the reversal pattern right here. When it's approaching $27, you should have understood and set those alerts that would have been the ideal price point to sell. Even when it breaks above $26, approaching the resistance, alert yourself. Set those alerts so you don't make the mistake of missing out on an opportunity. So again, please break them down in the correct format. I'm not going to, if you continue to call out stocks like this, I'm not going to do it. I do apologize. So we got 6 more minutes. And so DRIP just broke above 721. Please, let's focus on stocks that are actively trending up. So this is eBay, right? This is kind of like the competitor, if you want to call it that, for Amazon, showing signs of this potential reversal. It's showing signs of a descending pattern. Do you understand that pattern? And there's a form of risk by investing in patterns like that, right? Overall resistance would be the SMA indicator. We could catch that by this, right? So that's about 6% that it has to offer. Great. Do you understand the pattern? And will you understand when there's a pullback or when there's a break of pattern? Make sure you ask yourself that. And is the opportunity cost worth it? I do see value in this pattern, but again, it is a descending pattern. So if you're a newer trader, I probably would not encourage you to take a position based on that. Simple as that. When do you usually take a second position? So if you're talking about like my TMUS, when it makes higher highs or when it breaks a certain resistance level, showing me that it's continuing to make higher highs. So it wouldn't be anytime soon. So I need this thing to break above 50, like $58, and then break above 58 and continue to uptrend, or on the pullback confirmation. So when something is actively trending up like this, let's say my original position was at the confirmation, let's say at around $60, it pushes up, and then it gets rejected and bounces here at around 60.50, and then it begins to push up again. That's confirmation of an uptrend pattern. I'll take a position anywhere around this price point. It pushes up, pulls back, and then it confirms the uptrend pattern. I'll take another position. Again, when it continues to confirm that it's going to actively trend up, that's when I will feel comfortable to take a position. So DGAS. We already talked about DGAS. So EMA is definitely acting as a support here, but we can see that $27 tends to be an ideal, around $26 to $27, it tends to be a pretty good buy point. And there's been a lot of volatility in this in UGAS and DGAS, so it's been very difficult to kind of decide exactly where's a good buy and where's a good sell. As you know, based on previous patterns, it was much easier to identify that. But as long as you're confident that you're getting in at a good deal, so around closer to $27, it would be a matter of time for it to actually just reverse and be able to sell at around $28 to $29. So, yeah. Drip, drop, drip, drip, drop. Let's look at this 20-day analysis. Watch out for the rejection at the SMA. Again, it continues to get rejected by this SMA indicator. Watch out as it pushes up. It might get rejected at around $8 to $8.20. Again, let's not sell it to ourselves. Let's wait for the actual confirmation, the break of pattern. And as of right now, it is trying to push up. That's great. Ask yourself, is this a day trade or is this a swing trade? Don't sell it to yourself, right? Still make sure that you get in for a good deal. Wait for the pullback confirmations. If you guys have gone through the entire course, that is all something that you guys should be comfortable with and understand. And if not, then just test it out more with simulation trading. Easiest way to do it. All right, guys, 2 more minutes. All right, let's check this out. Okay, 10%. This is actually a pretty decent breakdown. So DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay. So a lot of consolidation based on previous patterns at around this $30 price point. So again, old resistance level acting as a new support level. Can we see this? And then it almost offers this horizontal pattern, right? This range of potential for profit, right? About 20%. Great call out. Now, is it reversing? Is it actually showing signs of an uptrend pattern? Ask yourself, what direction? Again, going back to our notes, right? Myself as a trader and what I told myself, Ricky's criteria checklist, ascending or horizontal pattern, right? Ensuring that you are getting in a good deal. Margin of profit, opportunity cost is greater than 3%. Candles are actively trending up above the 180-day EMA. EMA line is pointing up, showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Is it doing that? It's not actively trending up above the EMA, and the EMA line is not pointing up. So it means that I have to be a little bit more patient. So let's set my alerts at the break above 3150 and revisit this one. Again, there's so much, there's the total of 20% potential for profit. Why risk it? Why rush it? Let's not rush our trade. Let's wait for the confirmation. And again, it's been showing signs of this descending pattern, rejection at the EMA line, right? Why would I want to get in close to the EMA line? It can get rejected. I want to wait for a confirmation of it pushing up, pulling back, bouncing on the EMA, just like it's done last time, and then confirming the uptrend pattern. Okay? So let's wait on that. So great call out. Ricky, appreciate first timer being in the morning live chat. Love. Appreciate that. Cheers. Cheers to gains. I like it. How many positions do you normally hold at a time? Really? One. At most, about two. So that's a good question. Maybe I should ask that. I should add that to my start here. So again, this is all available in the Learn Plan Profit Start Here chat. So it's so you guys can build your own profiles as well. All right, we are done for the day, team. Hey, Ricky, first day with LPP. Is your TMUS for a swing trade or a day trade, and how do you decide? By the way, I think you rock. Appreciate that. So, Kate, my position on TMUS, so when I originally took my position, I called it out as a swing trade. So let me ask you, let's ask ourselves this, Kate. I talked about the margin, the opportunity cost from $55 to $65. Looking at this 180-day analysis, does it make sense that this would be all completed in one day? No, right? So with that understanding, it takes a number of days, if not a couple of weeks, for it to complete this margin, right? So it would make sense that if I see value in this pattern, that I'm going to have to hold it for how long it's taken before for it to recover. And sometimes it's been a month for this to even complete that margin. And that's when it's actively and aggressively trending up. So with that understanding, I don't know why your message got retracted. I'm sorry about that, man. I think you said something about TMUS, and then it just got rejected. So I didn't do anything, though. So with that understanding, yes, it's for a swing trade. And the reason that I know that is because I look at the pattern and the margin that I see value in, and I look at the previous patterns and how long it's taken to cover that margin. And it's very easy for me to see that it's going to be a swing trade and not a day trade. Does that make sense? Learning it all the time. Thank you. Thanks again for the team. Thank you again, Purple Rose. Okay, so this is going to be the last. So these are going to be. So I was going to type in. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's why you put in TMUS. I get it. DPLO. It's a pharmacy company. I'm not a huge fan. You could just see that it also has pretty low volume. Huge gap up. Again, don't sell it to yourself. Don't just think because it's gapped up that it's a great buy. Forget about all that that nonsense. It's pushed up. Ask yourself, is this a good deal? In my opinion, no. Second question, do you understand the pattern? This pattern is so inconsistent that it's very difficult for me to even see value in it. And then ask yourself the last thing, is the opportunity cost worth it? First of all, you have to understand the pattern to see the margin of profit, potential profit that it has left to offer. And I do see a resistance at around $24 based on this. And if we go based off of that, then no, the margin of profit does not outweigh the margin of loss. So I would not see value in this one. So I saw a lot of people calling out MTCH yesterday, so that's why I'm going to talk about it. It had a solid uptrend pattern. It is now showing signs of a reversal. So this is the matchgroup.com. And I would wait now because we're getting a little bit closer to that $40 price point, which used to be a previous support. I would wait for the break above 40, or I would try to get in closer to the EMA line with a pullback confirmation. So let's set our alerts and then follow up with this one when it stays relevant, right? So great call out, guys. I feel like we had a great talk today. I think we went over 20 to 30 tickers today, which I think is pretty solid. So, and there's actually quite a bit of you that are tuning in live. You know, the thing that's kind of upsetting is that, shoot, I have to fix this now just because we changed it up a bit. You know what's kind of upsetting is if you guys check our the Learn Plan Profit live streams, you guys can always revisit them. There's always people that dislike them. First of all, it doesn't matter. They're unlisted videos, so no one's going to see that. The thing that I don't understand is, first of all, why is it being disliked? You know, we're all in this group, and if there's something that you don't like about the chat, then I need you guys to talk to me about it. We are a group and we are a team, and we are supposed to hold one another accountable. And if there's something that I am doing that you do not agree with, then let me know. You know that I'm all about like just self-improvement. And if there's something that you personally do not like about these live streams, then let me know. Something that you don't like about the course, then let me know. To my understanding, the feedback that I get every single day is that the course is very effective and that they see so much value in these live streams. So I don't understand why, and I know that there's trolls, right? But it's like, this is our group, this is our team. So if there's something that I'm doing that is not resonating well with you, why not let me know? Do you think that I'm not gonna care? Like, you guys know that I want to provide as much value as I can for you guys. So why would it not make sense to make your issue aware to whoever it is that you have the issue with? So I just want to remind you guys, like, if you guys can, and there's something that I am doing with the overall trading community. Again, don't think about how this might affect our relationship as individuals. You guys know that I even if you guys say, Ricky, you're a straight dingleberry and I don't like you, that's okay. You guys don't have to like me, right? But what I do want to know is if you have something, you have an idea of what I can do to be more effective, even just for your style of investing, or that could accommodate you a little bit more, the easiest thing that you can do is just to make it aware to me and my team. So Justin, if you don't want to tell me directly, so Justin can tell me, and you can tell Justin, hey, please keep me anonymous. That is something that I will respect. But you know that as people that want to grow and be successful, we can't just hold grudges. We're not little kids, right? And for all those that are little kids that are in this group, even yourself, you're not joining a group of people that are playing Fortnite, right? And just messing with one another. We're here to make money, and we're here to grow as individuals, and we're here to learn how to be more successful. So all I ask you is, if you have some suggestion or area of improvement for myself or the overall community, just like I got yesterday, then please let me know. Please let me know, or please direct message Justin to keep you anonymous. And I promise you that I will have a talk with Justin that if they request to keep themselves anonymous, I will respect that 100%. So what I also want to say is that yesterday I sent out, not only myself but also Justin, a message that there was an individual within our group that was actually pretty active, that did assist a lot of our members. And he started sending out a private group chat, a link to a separate Discord chat, which is 100% not according to our rules. And you guys know, it doesn't matter how helpful someone is within the group. When someone breaks one of the rules, especially trying to not remove members, but create a separate group chat to provide value elsewhere and taking it away from LPP, then that is against our rules. And that is why I removed him. Easiest way to say it. Some people said, oh, he's very helpful and stuff like that. I get that. And I was speaking to him about being a potential admin. But once they go behind your back, create a separate group chat and direct message our active members, regardless of who it is that he was, even if it's Justin Lawrence, my partner, if he begins to do that, that is against our rules. And because of that, I took the action of banning him. And I will do that to there's actually another member that did the same thing, that requested them to join a separate server. I will have to ban you and unenroll you from the course. Easiest way to put it. So if there's an issue that you have, as people have brought up to me yesterday, that, hey, there's a lot of people that are joining our group chat. And for those that are already experienced traders and learn plan profit, it's very annoying to have to answer these FAQs for a lot of the new members. I get that. So now, because there's a couple suggestions that I received yesterday, I talked to Justin about it, and we're going to develop a separate chat or separate channel that is based on a point system that will, once you get to a certain level of experience, you will be included in the separate chat of more advanced traders. And now what I ask those new traders to do is, if you're just joining us for the first time, to complete the entire course, because a lot of these frequently asked questions that a newer trader might have, I want to encourage all those questions, right? But I also want you guys to understand that if you have not completed the course, then you also do run the risk of exhausting a lot of our members, because the question that you are probably asking that's answered in the course has been one that has been asked 10 to 40 times over. So all I ask you is, if you're a new trader, take into consideration that, we don't want to exhaust our current members, and that because you invested in this course, you should invest in yourself in completing the entire course. It makes sense. And now what I'm going to do is, for those experienced traders, then I will, create a separate channel within Learn Plan Profit for those more advanced traders, so you guys can have an avenue or a channel that could be a little bit more of a quality share of information. And whenever you feel like you want to share or answer questions, then you can revisit this more beginner chat or channel and then go from there. So again, we came up with this once we saw that some people weren't experiencing what we were at the very beginning, right? Because we continue to get new people that join our chat every single day. DGAS just broke below $27. AGN just broke above 152. What the heck? Wow, that was a push up. And again, because it's pushed up so aggressively, take into consideration on how aggressive it could have a sell-off. So again, just something to take into consideration. So yeah, but I actually like that idea as well. And again, for any suggestions that you guys might have, just understand that I still have to go through my direct messages every single day. I feel like I've been doing a much better job with it. I'm keeping it up on a day-to-day basis, but I'm still getting flooded with direct messages and a lot of FAQ questions. Whenever you have a question or you want to, message me, I want to encourage you to message me. Just get straight to the point. You don't have to apologize for messaging me. That's what I'm here for. I appreciate all the thank you messages, and I really do. Just if it's me or Justin, just get straight to the point and send your suggestion. And we write them down and revisit them when me and Justin have a weekly meeting on areas of improvement, right? So you're the best stock market teacher, Ricky. You keep it simple. Thank you, Gabe. So what about the assigning buddies for new members? That would be really helpful. I agree. That's a great idea. So almost like a buddy system, right? So that's something that we'll write down, and me and Justin will talk about the pros and cons and how it is that we can implement that. And again, just take into consideration like your actual suggestion, and just make sure that it is for the greater good. Don't just suggest something that just would be better for yourself and that you don't think it would benefit anyone else. So be considerate for others for what it is that you are going to request. So Marco was saying, I know that you said that ETFs are not easily dependent on volume. Does that mean that it cannot be manipulated? It doesn't mean that. So volume does not play a huge role in a lot of the ETFs that I trade, especially a lot of the higher volume ones like JNUG and JDST. It doesn't mean that it's not a factor. Supply and demand is still a factor in anything, and if the push or the manipulation is big enough, then of course it could disrupt the supply and demand, right? But it's just not a huge factor for something like, let's say if I'm trying to trade something like with a lower volume that's an actual stock itself, and then I talk about it and there's a bunch of people that just promote it, then obviously there's going to be an influx of manipulation in that specific ticker. Something that for an ETF that's based on a commodity or a sector, it's more like news that is a factor on catalyst for it to drive go up or go down. So I like the buddy system. I'm new. Okay, you're doing great. Keep it up. Don't change like that. Can you be my buddy? What's going on, Jeremy? Marco, can you tell me what ticker it was? So let me know. But yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So USLV is back at 1040. JNUG is at 1566. 40 is at 1110. Trip is at 710. UGAS is at 5786. TMUS is at 5650. HTZ. Let's see. So JDST is trying to reverse back up intraday, and then UAN is back at 306. Very low volume on that one. All right. That is funny. Appreciate that. So UGAS. So, okay, because of the huge pop that you guys just had. We'll have to visit that. There has to be some form of news that was announced that acts as a catalyst for this push up. So, yeah, we'll have to visit that one a little bit later. So I want to thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to direct message me. Okay, yeah, so feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. Thank you guys again so much for your time. And if you guys have any questions on anything, feel free to direct message me or Justin Lawrence within the LPP chat. So if you guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys again for your time, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday. So take it easy, team.